YOLO. Yep, you read the title right. And no, it's not clickbait. I'm going all in on XRP. This is definitely not financial advice, especially since going all in on one thing is probably one of the riskiest things you can possibly do. And I'm not a crypto guy. I never really have been. I played around with the idea of investing in Dogecoin when it was under a few cents, but I talked myself out of that one and ended up losing out on potential $100,000 because of it. Now, if you have no idea what XRP is, then you're in the same boat I was in about 2 weeks ago. I had never heard of it before, and it's not exactly something that's popular that you hear of every day unless you're in the crypto space looking at it or watching the regulations. I ended up actually hearing about it because of the lawsuit between Ripple, the company that made it, and the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission. Now, once I had heard about it, I started looking into it, trying to figure out what it was, what was going on. And I found out that XRP is a cryptocurrency similar to Bitcoin. However, the way they gain their value is different. See, Bitcoin is more of a store of value. It's similar to gold. It increases over time. Now, being a cryptocurrency, it does have ups and downs, peaks and valleys. It is more volatile. But Bitcoin has been referred to as digital gold. 95% of all Bitcoins that will ever exist have already been mined and are owned by people. And of that 95% that are owned, only around 5% of the population owns Bitcoin, which means it's a very scarce commodity. It's high resource because of the laws of supply and demand. But it doesn't really have too much in world use. You always hear that story of the guy who bought a couple pizzas back in the day for hundreds or thousands of Bitcoins. And if he had just held on to them, they would have been worth millions by now. Many people aren't really using Bitcoin as a form of transfer or transaction. However, that's where XRP comes in. XRP is not really designed to be a store of value. It is more of a use case is where it gets its value from institutions, predominantly banks. Now, the way bank transfers work currently is, say you're in Japan and you have to transfer money from your Japanese bank to your American bank, and you want to transfer $1 million because you're just baller like that. You're rich, you have a business or whatever. First thing you're going to do is you're going to put in the information, you're going to hit transfer, and it's going to transfer from Japan to a middleman. And when that happens, there's obviously a little fee done. A little is skimmed off the top. However, from what I was able to research, it looks like transferring from one bank to another like that has multiple middlemen. Think about it like your money having to transfer from one country to another to actually get to America. I know it's all digital and should be instantaneous, but apparently it takes around 3 to 5 business days to transfer money electronically from one bank to another. And during that process, it usually goes through multiple middlemen who all siphon off the top. I was completely shocked when I learned that. To be in the year 2025, to have access to almost all of human knowledge at our fingertips, or at least all knowledge that has survived. Rip the Library of Alexandria. It will be missed. But seriously, we have access to almost anything and everything 24/7 at the tip of our fingers. Yet, for institutions and major professionals to transfer large amounts of money around, it takes 3 to 5 days with multiple middlemen and all these different transactions eating away at the money. So when I heard that XRP was designed to eliminate that using the blockchain technology to confirm the sender, the receiver, the amount, everything in real time, taking only 3 to 5 seconds, I realized this was going to be revolutionary. So XRP could revolutionize how transfers and transactions of large amounts of monies between businesses, high net worth individuals, and especially banks are conducted. On top of that, you have the current administration and President Trump being very pro-crypto and creating a strategic crypto reserve for America, buying up large amounts of cryptocurrencies and sitting and holding on them. That way they will increase in value and can be used as either collateral or to pay off the national debt. Now, there's something else that's adding to this perfect storm, if you will, which is the new rules for banks this year, the ISO 2000022, which is an industry standard that's being set for all banking transactions being done to make it smoother, more efficient, and easier to understand on a global scale. Now, you'll never guess which cryptocurrency is already designed to run and operate on ISO 2000022. Yep, XRP. It's going to be one of the first cryptocurrencies that's set up for the new industry standard that's coming. Now, the two important dates to watch seem to be July 14th and then sometime in November for the implementation of this new banking standard for the entire world. So it almost seems like there's a perfect storm, a golden opportunity here for XRP. And the way I look at it, if you had the chance to buy Bitcoin back in the day before Bitcoin absolutely blew up, would you? Now, like I said earlier, I'm not a crypto guy, so I don't know for a fact that it's going to go. I just know that there seem to be a lot of macro indicators all pointing in the same direction for it. And I want to try and get in early because those who can adopt a new technology first usually end up dominating in that field, at least for a time. Now, at the time of the recording, XRP is sitting at $2.21 per coin. And I bought in when it was $2.20 a coin. And this, I can tell you, is the hardest economic decision I've ever made in my life. Because I am a dividend investor. I only invest in dividend-paying stocks. I find it incredibly motivating and encouraging, and also fun. I like, at the end of every month, going into my Google spreadsheet and charting down all the different dividends I got, watching it grow over time, seeing compound interest work. I've been investing for around 4 years now, and there have been some ups and downs and learning curves, but I've never done anything this gambly, I guess I could say. It feels very high risk. It was definitely not a decision I made lightly, and it took me the better course of a week researching it, praying, sleeping on it, literally just sitting around and going, all right, should I not? There's what my heart says, there's what my head says. Truth's probably somewhere in between, but eventually I decided to just go ahead and do it. So I liquidated everything I've worked on for the last 4 years, selling all my stocks and putting it all into XRP. I now have around 69,000 and some coins. I will miss tracking my dividends and having that form of income. But after I sold everything, I paid off my debts, or most of my debts, all the margin in my account, and that's when I invested in it. Now again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a crypto guy. I don't have any kind of insider information. I'm just looking at all the different signs and realizing that this would be an early adaptation of a new technology that solves a major problem for massive players. There's very good chance that it's going to go up. But also, there's a good chance that there's a different cryptocurrency that'll solve the problem better or is already in implementation. Something could go wrong with the actual system itself. There's a million variables, so always do your own due diligence and realize there's high risk in anything that you decide to invest in. Now, I've already got my 3 to 6 months worth of savings in a high yield savings account, so I at least have myself covered if this all goes wrong and drops. And I'm willing to hold it for the long run, or at least until, next year. That way it doesn't affect my taxes this year any worse than they already are. I'm not looking forward to the tax season for this year. It's going to be a headache. But I plan on continuing to log the journey and share everything with you guys so you know what's going on. I highly recommend that you start doing research on XRP to see if it's something you want to invest in. And let me know in the comments below if you hold any of it or if crypto's not your thing. Thanks for watching. This is the biggest financial decision I've made in my life. Let's see where it goes, and I'll catch you on the flip side.